In school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked attention. Even when I'm in school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked attention. Even when I'm in school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked attention. Even when I'm in school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked attention. Even when I'm in school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked attention. Even when I'm in school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked attention. Even when I'm in school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked attention. Even when I'm in school, I always volunteer to do debates and anything to do with talking. I like it. So I think I express myself more when I talk than when you give me pen and paper to write stuff. I've always been a crazy girl. I've always liked
of politically motivated using them. People will then be arrested immediately after the June 24th elections, and that's not been part of Resolution 4. And after this agreement don't come into existence, the government and the opposition don't be they get several negotiations and foresee how they go implement this particular agreement. Well, finally, yesterday, they don't release 10 people there. What does this mean for peace and national cohesion? What does this mean for political tolerance? Now, all of that we can discuss inside this edition of the Breakfast Show. We will be joined by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Alpha Sise, where they out of the country at the moment. But we go join through virtual link, and at the studio, we get the National Publicity Secretary for the All People's Congress APC Party, Sidi Yayah Tunis, and one of the people we been there in between all the conversations reconciliation there with the international moral guarantor them and government. We go can't tell we waiting this mean for them party, especially when some of them supporter them been in a prison, where them be done they advocate for as a party for let them go release them. Good morning, Sidi, and welcome to the breakfast show.
Good morning, Khadija. Good morning, Mabel. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure for the
All right, we see for almost 2 years, una don dey advocates, una don dey use different channel them, una don dey call on international moral guarantor them, the international community, una don dey push forward a case for una party members and supporter them. We be done in various correctional centers, some be in exile, and finally yesterday it don't come to existence, they don't release them. Let we go back to some of the reason them will lead to them detention there, will lead on a supporter them for run away, come out na the country and go in exile, na various country them. Waiting are some of the reasons them will be lead to all of them things there.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning again. Just like how you start the narrative early, a lot of them people have been left, some of them since 2018, after the elections, we then go into the communities, some of them run away because of the many harassments and intimidation. And then the problem even compound now after 2023, where more and more people themselves go into exile because of the level of intimidations we then face. Now the communities them, and also reach the demonstrations we happen around August 10th. We plenty of people were arrested and locked up, and also other incidents that we happen at localities them across. So like you clearly stated, we be done the advocate, we be done the get some of them people that they release through lawyers them and other organizations them. But of course, after 2023, the problem became very much serious. We, lead we to Bintumani. Bintumani, we come up with then 8-point resolutions, as you clearly state. One of them have been this resolution 4, where we look at 3 things. One, people were detained, where we feel say they were detained because of politics, not so much because they commit crimes. And people will left this country because they've been afraid then political intimidations, and because they don't charge them also with crimes that we, go Hamburg. And then also cases then will be facing a politically motivated cases. So we don't deal with all of them things then they. But of course, in the process, it became more complicated when November 26 happened. When in fact, we don't submit list prior to that. Where some names that will be in our list can happen for now fall into the November 26 saga. So it complicates things. But then in the end, the government, through the AG's office, and then we set up a special committee where they look at resolution 4 specifically. And that committee, they be headed by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Alpha Cisse. So that committee, they be done, they look at then the list they will submit on individual basis. And if you can recall, a couple of weeks ago, they be released a certain number of prisoners there from McKinney and Bow. And then of course now yesterday with this list we don't get where a good number of people will be don't run away, they in exile. Now they don't look at the case and they don't find out say themselves not get anything for answer to, and they don't now render them free. APC Sheriff in your case a little different from that 37 names they will now see on the press release. APC Sheriff in case different in the sense, say them be arrested during the 2023 election campaign. They say you get weapon with no license. And if they don't go through trial, the trial they don't convict them. So that is why in your case a little different. We able to secure a release through a presidential pardon. So President Bill for the spirit of national cohesion and for ensure say we're able to implement Resolution 4 and for the continuous request we will make and plea able for Siam say okay, they will grant and pardon as well as the one they already be arrested together with that did in at that checkpoint.
Now that you talk about the spirit of national cohesion, we make President Bio being pardon, APC sheriff and other one them. Before we reach to this level, don't they hear the president and even other people who they work na a administration? Don't they describe una party say una destructive opposition? With all of them things there we don't happen, Sidi. How una self go ensure say una support President Bio for succeed as an opposition and he remain in years in office?
Khadija, clearly that adjective they not define we as a political party, especially this current leadership. Because I go say we have been one of the most constructive leadership you will find in the political party to a point that even our own members, our own supporters, they see we as weak, some they see we as sellout, because we are always of the view that no matter how long it takes, we are a government in waiting. And we cannot inherit a destructive and chaotic country, because for us, we record as a political party now for develop salon, for create opportunities for citizens of this country. And you're not going to accomplish that outside your country not peaceful and outside your country chaotic and outside enmity and division, they're all over the place. So which is why we have been very patient with our engagement with government, regardless of how much provocations and intimidations we don't come through as a political party. So, we are always open, and we have always been open for engage with President Bio and the government honestly and sincerely for ensure say we maintain peace, quiet and cohesion in this country. Waiting we, however, no go take. And
all right, quickly, Sidi, when they come back to you, we don't get the Attorney General and Minister of Justice on the phone. Unfortunately, we'll never forget them via the VMix link we'll get a video call with them. But nonetheless, we don't join by Alpha Sisi. We are the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Good morning, Mr. Sisi, and welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, Khadija. Good morning to the Liberty team and to the people of Sierra Leone. And also good morning to my brother Widi in studio, my brother and my customer, Sierra Tunis. And good for the also for explaining government decision to the people.
All right, yesterday we see through your office, you pull a press release informing the general public, say finally, based on all the negotiations we done the all with the main opposition APC party, for implement all within the 8th resolution for the agreement of peace and unity. Resolution 4, they talk about releasing people who get politically motivated cases will be in various correctional centers, people will be in exile because of political issues. The government of Sierra Leone don't finally release them people yesterday. We don't talk to Sidi from an opposition perspective. He believes in the right way that they for maintain peace and national cohesion at the country. Then we go back, Alpha, to say all of the issues they are so begin. We want to remind viewers them who say una come out as a government and the opposition, so they una reach yesterday for release 34 people.
Yes, hello, you want me for coming now?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh yes, so first, as to the reason why this was done, yes, I agree with my brother Sidi Yayah Tunis. Say peace and cohesion, very important country, and that responsibility we His Excellency the President take very seriously. Say he has a proper responsibility for keep the country together, for keep the country safe, for ensure that there is cohesion, for ensure that we will get along, for ensure that when we say as a political party, one country, one people, it embrace everybody, not only within the political party or within government, and not in the opposition a part of government. But it's been a long journey for Kanaya. So, family remember say in October 2023, we've been signed with what we call the Agreement for National Unity after 3 days of negotiations. I've been to Mali. Of course, after that agreement, a lot of people didn't pay attention to Resolution 3, where we been called the tripartite resolution. So they almost stand exceed the entire Agreement for National Unity was just about tripartite. People didn't even call it the tripartite agreement. Become a common language in our community. But the Agreement for National Unity didn't get several clauses. It actually didn't get about 8 clauses. And one of such clauses, the one we call Resolution 4, we didn't get several sub clauses A, B, C, D. We talk about one, of course, for make government, release all persons arrested and waiting in custody for elections-related offenses or civil protest. And then, you get the other part where say, for make government is continuing within the APC term, as politically motivated cases. And then, you get the other part of it where say, for make government, say, the third part is persons will not be exiled from their communities, both internal and external exile, because they fear say when in a community, they will be subjected to attacks, feel safe, or they feel safe, then come police go arrest them. Public government, ensure say, then return back and their communities safely. So that the one in the other is, of course, you can get the other part we talk, say, backlog payment for members of parliament, etc., to be paid by government. Government don't do that. I will see the statement from the APT. But all I want to see, they say it will be based on a list we will be submitted by the APC for consideration by government. But what His Excellency the President do was that a set up what we call the Resolution 4 Oversight Committee. We asked me for chair, but that committee, the APC also they therefore nominate members to that committee, from parliament, and then other individual actors who also get civil society represented on that committee. So that committee don't meet, don't consider then list as well, and then make recommendation to His Excellency the President, but also to not say, why is the committee doing work? Yes, APC leadership going to get several meetings, with the president, with me. With the chief minister, they really try to push and say, we give consideration to the cases here. So after a lot of discussions, you go back to the president, and the president, what say, yes, governance is difficult, it's challenging, but the point is that sometimes, we get for make concessions, we get for move the needle for say, the country gets together. The president also acknowledged, say, whenever you get into a dialogue with someone, you don't state an intention. You get to shift your position small. So whilst we will get to disagreements with the APC over certain issues in government, the president also acknowledged, position are part of government. We all are one. And doing that, we they drive the interest of the country. Is really, really more important than the disagreements we get. But certain things that we want to make clear, Khadija. When we look at the list, government is also very clear. See, if somebody in the one in custody on her court as a result of criminal conduct, that don't necessarily mean say it will be under Resolution 4. And so now that make people only ask, the question about APC sheriff and all. There were other cases related to elections and civil protests which were discharged. APC sheriff in your case, it was government's position at the time that it was not election related or not linked to civil protest. So that is why, it got through in trial, it convicted, and then sentenced them to jail time. So that jail time it is served. Now, once that they happen, the way you get out of it is either you appeal or the president exercises in prerogative of mercy with the Constitution under Section 63, subsection 1, grants them. And so in the case of APC sheriff, and the one they all way come out yesterday, prison, and the president exercised the power with the Constitution there for make sure, say, one, yes, we make concession. Brothers and sisters, that the APC. Two, that we need to get a justice system where we also humane. and three, not the president would say everybody in this world deserves a second chance, and so that is why if you see the press release will come out from the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, the president also notes with caution. To then people also say, let them come back to society, let them be productive, we could all join hands for move salon go before. So and that the president did yesterday, and a part of him continued efforts, for keep the country together. When we also really, I want to emphasize when the president made statements here, so we want to make family and say not to only saying them in speeches and backing them with action, and that he did yesterday.
Mr. Sise, then people are going back to their communities. Now, one way people on they ask again, how or waiting government don't put in place for them security, because if you remember some of the people them where they name them within the list as wanted people, for example, when are politically motivated crimes them according to the APC, all of them people here where governments are left, then turn and the way them behold them. A lot of issues be they happen at the country. One gets for do with the November incident, where make some people be don't frame them people here as bad people to government. Them reintegrating to them communities them. How safe government will ensure say they go for be where they go for let people welcome them back based on the crimes them where allegedly they behold them for initially.
So make we starting things clear. The list for the APC submit. Now 26 then submit the list here. So all the persons we in the list not as a result of any involvement in November 26. November 26 failed coup attempt that don't be handled separately. So then people have to really have it for November 26. Now as to your question on then people have to their safety, going back to their communities, etc., etc. Now, before we release this list here, so we don't get extensive engagement with brothers and sisters at the APC. It's not like, we just take everybody by surprise and then just let them go. You understand? We don't get several discussions about safety, about security, about preparing communities, and that's on all of us. One, of course, we can say the Casino government responsibility for ensuring that people are safe. And so that is why before the PPS were released, everything was checked with the security sector. Threat assessment was done by the security sector. And security sector said it is safe for these people for go back to their communities. And then of course government will continue to provide security. If anybody exposed to any threat, if anybody face security risk here and there, the police will come in because that's not what the police responsible for. For make sure, say, then cater for people in safety in our communities. So yes, the police will be there. The police then doors open, people can report any incidents to police. But also, the responsibility is shared with brothers and sisters at the APC, where now they submit themselves in the first place as their members. So then some get a responsibility for ensure say they support the integration process. For make sure say they support then people also we don't be released. We our brothers and sisters as well. For let them go back to their communities, and live safely because the investment in national cohesion. Now we all we see the Independent Committee for Peace and National Cohesion. Now they do a lot of work, drive a lot of messages, engage in communities. So they're safe, a part of this process. So several players don't really accompany this process here. So and we're really confident say it will work well. People will able to live back in communities. We all will get on as brothers. And sisters, we will meet up in the streets, shake hands, hug each other, talk about the country, and go on before, and then help the president, when I'm waiting, we also supposed to do as citizens for drive in mandates for push the country before.
Mr. Sise, before we come to Sidi, where they would win at the studio, quick clarification. You make mention, say, them people are way then at the list where on a release yesterday, not get anything for do with the November 26th attempted coup, but somebody then at this list, when I Miss Danke Kouma, where because of the November 26th coup, then they don't put in face out there saying a wanted, and in name then at the list of people there yesterday where una don't free. Miss Danke Kouma in case different from the November 26th coup cases them where in face then at the list of wanted people?
Well, yes, let me make that very clear. See, long before the November 26 coup, failed coup attempt. They could be very clear on that. Ms. Danke Krumah may come up in the context of another investigation we've been get for do with murder. And then come up in the context of that investigation. And so she had been invited for make a statement, or for the police look into whether she was linked to that alleged criminal conduct along with other people. But then Ms. Danke Krumah did the out of the country, or they traveled out of the country. So when the APC put together a list of persons of interest or the members then with government for consider under Resolution 4, Ms. Danke Krumah in naming that list in the context of that previous investigation with police be carried out, not in the context of November 26th failed coup attempt. And so when we look at everything, at that point, for example, so if let us say my name come up in the context of elections or civil protest right before November 26th, but it happens to say Mina also a person of interest in relation to November 26th, then at that point we'll go for look at everything in entirety, and know whether the person will be released or not for be released, or whether the person, the investigation for be discontinued or not.
So in this case, now that's what I do for Ms. Danke Krumah, all the issues them where them be the investigator for the November 26th now and the first murder case where them be the investigator for, they don't clear all of their issues, then they is free now for come back now the country.
So that's not what the statement say. The statement say the persons on the list we don't determine say then not to subject of any criminal investigations anymore. So the statement, and that's them free for move about their normal business without any disruption. That's not what the statement say. It basically means, yes, whilst Ms. Danke Krumah and naming the list for issues will happen before November 26th, the state don't determine say Ms. Danke Krumah, along with others that the list, not a subject of any criminal investigations anymore, and that them free for move about their normal business without any disruption. So yes, Ms. Danke Krumah free for come back to the country. Ms. Danke Krumah free for live in community. Ms. Danke Krumah free for move about a normal business without any disruption. Yeah, so that is what the statement says.
All right, continue for the with Alpha. They come back to you soon. Quickly look to you, Sidi. You don't listen to the Minister of Justice. You don't make in submission. And earlier I asked the question, say, with all these events where they unfold now, it clearly shows, say, the government, they extend the olive branch to Unana, the opposition, with all the chaos where they happen after the June 24, 2023 elections. But the willingness for Muna again as an opposition for come on board and support government succeed in all of them programs the way they do, and one way questionable, because Una still get supporters out there for any tendency Una they come close to the government, allegation of it don't sell game, it don't collect money from government, they come up. Then allegation they are going to limit Una for support President Bio for succeed?
No, absolutely not, Khadija. I mean, their allegations they go always stay, but we are leaders, and as leaders we have a responsibility. One, for keep the party focused, but also for keep the country together and peaceful. All of which don't happen so now as a result of us working together. In the first place, now the two parties, now we sit down, now been to money and come up with the agreement for national unity. When I did their resolutions, they are all come out so. And also, for make we get to this point where side people are being released, now the two parties also come together through this special committee where they set up where the Attorney General just mentioned, but we get representatives from both government and APC. And in as a young man, now in the head that committee, they of course they don't do a marvelous job. For let we get to this point now, Usai, people are being investigated and released on the fact say they don't find them wanting. I mean, if we not take leadership and engage government, we people go continue for suffer. Imagine if we just been decide say we go sit down, you know, we not go work with government, then people there go still in exile, then go still in a prison, they suffer. And then one way they accuse we of, you know, being sellouts, then go still they enjoy with their families, while other people and families then they, you know, suffer. So we have a responsibility. As much as, yes, with the head opposition, we, you know, people might not be satisfied with all of what in government they do, but at the same time also we get a responsibility for able for engage constructively, for make sure say we maintain peace and keep the country together.
Living in people here, you don't make mention twice now say governments left them because at the end of it they did not find them wanting of the crimes. Is it because governments not find them wanting of the crimes and would them be hold them for, or not because governments want for address resolution 4 we talk say them for left them people here? Clear that for the viewers.
Well, now resolution 4, first of all, now through resolution 4 we able for submit the list. Now through resolution 4 the engagement start. But even where resolution 4, the government not just left them, they investigate for ensure for able establish say indeed they not commit crime. And I mean, if you read the press release itself, it states they clearly, yes, in the spirit of resolution 4, the APC submit the list will engage government, but government self not act irresponsibly for just left them because APC don't submit list. Then go further and investigate, then look into them cases for establish say indeed they not commit crime. That is one.
So they refer to, say then they drop all charges against them. And when you get charges means then they investigate you for something and not clearly indicate say we not find them wanting.
Well, it did. I mean, they talk say after the investigation they don't establish say then people are not get any criminal case for answer to anymore. And so they're free about for and so they're free about for go the normal business. If then be find them wanting, you know, therefore, you know, like in the case of APC sheriff, you read the attorney general, they be don't convict them, you know, they don't sentence them. So then I make even while they talk, I say we get forgive, you know, special thanks to President Bill because now in prerogative for extend pardon to him because if it not be one pardon, he has been convicted, he has been sentenced. So that they now 100% in the spirit of the implementation of the agreement for national unity and for also ensure say we get peace and cohesion. So we get for, you know, establish that and give them credit, you know, and for that particular act the way it takes so.
Acknowledge say that particular decision for APC sheriff for release na President Bill use in discretion. Is it safe for say waiting happen yesterday na it new done for the opposition and the government of Sierra Leone in terms of working together, collaborating in the interest of Sierra Leoneans?
Well, I pray so, and I think that's something we all for embrace, Khadija. For the simple fact, say, we only get one country. Yes, we are opposition, they are government. But of course, the views may be different, but the interest may be the same. When I foresee the development of Sierra Leone, when I for create opportunities for citizens of Sierra Leone, and enough for be one-sided. But going forward, you know, this not for just be something where they pick and choose. And this not for be something where we for just do because, you know, we want for achieve something. If for be sincere, if for be consistent, you know.
Aside promoting peace and national cohesion, other reason they from the side of government to make all of them things that they happen at a quicker pace?
No, I'm not going to say so, and I pray not. And I think the emphasis has been on, attaining peace and national cohesion. The press release statement, the Attorney General just statement now so, and I believe say myself believe say that now the spirit behind this, and so now a moment this will all for appreciate and celebrate as a country, and I believe say like you say probably this for redefine the relationship between government and opposition as to how we will keep the country together going forward.
And that's just bring me to the question of what are the commitments where the All People's Congress they make at this point, taking into consideration the action of the governments releasing them people here back to the communities. Waiting are on own commitments towards ensuring that waiting be make them go into that situation not even happen again.
We have always been committed. Of course, you go get people who go always make statements and do things way not to the position of the party. But like I said, Nadani and I make we leaders. We go always come and state the party in position clear as far as waiting our views on national issues, waiting our position on things that we government they do. We have been very vocal for take on government and things that we will know say that they do are not correct. But where we can also give support, we're always very open for give support regardless of which attacks we come under from certain sector of the membership of the party. What I would say is for us to get to this point even because like I stated earlier, we're able to come together. The agreement for national unity now we sit down together and do it. This committee where the AG the head, now committee we comprise of the APC and the government and also people in the security sector. Now they all sit down. APC submit their names, they all look at their names, then they evaluate them, they investigate, and like you heard him, the security sector established that these people are not threat to society and their safety will also be secure. So we are open, for work with government sincerely and in the interest of your membership and the entire citizenry of this country.
All right, now come back to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, where they with we on the phone. Alpha, you now the principal advisor to His Excellency the President, and it will get for do with the rule of law. And we see also you take the bold step, advise His Excellency for release somebody where they don't already convict and they serve in jail term, all in the name of promoting peace and national cohesion. That move there, now be a politically motivated move by you, or you genuinely feel say it's time for the President Bio begin make the right decisions where it come in terms of the rule of law?
Well, first, I just want to make a correction. Khadija, we see for the President Bio begin make the right decision. No, I'm not ordinarily beginning the right decision when it comes to keeping the country together, when it comes to the issues and the rule of law. President Bio don't make the right decision. Take it back to 96, when as a young man, he take a decision, say, maybe it's called transition to democratic rule. In fact, if you go to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission reports, it actually say Julius Maada Bio is the single most influential figure in the country's transition from military to civilian rule. That's something we don't do in the interest of the country. That is something we do for deepening democracy in the country, for strengthening the rule of law. So that's we don't begin now it begins. So of course, I advise, I'm looking at all the legal issues, as to how we will continue along that pathway, and so President, sometimes, of course, insert key directives, and then, we discuss the directives and the and how, the law applied to them. And then we'll make sure, say, they are done properly. So this has been President Bio in directive, So, yes, I advise, as to whether it was a political decision or it was genuine. This was done in the best interest of the country. Because, one, accepting, say, there's a need for keep this country together. Two, accepting, say, we in opposition and we all from government. Three, accepting, say, we all are brothers and sisters. We are all God's people, as I can therefore say. But also for accepting, say, the criminal justice process also means for rehabilitate and reintegrate people. The criminal justice process is supposed to be humane. the criminal justice process supposed to look at people as mortal man, and see, yes, even with people that don't do wrong, they don't be subjected to investigations, they don't be tried and convicted. Yes, there's punishment, but make room for them come back and contribute to society. And so now that's like I say, even the statement with the Ministry of Information and Civic Education put out, make very clear, say, President Biosi, then people here say, yes, they don't get a second chance. But for make them also come and contribute meaningfully to society, including to the political process. So this was done with the most genuine intentions in the interest of the country. And like I say, yes, now part of the effort for CC with deepen democracy, but make sure that it was done within the ambit of the law. So that make for cases in way, we don't complete it. The law give the Attorney General power for discontinue. For cases that we don't be completed, the person don't be convicted and the subject, the president, the law give the president the power for exercise prerogative of mercy under Section 63 of the Constitution. And that is what the president do. When they take their decision here, so they consider all things. Like I'm a brother, Sidi Yayah Tunis on top. They consider all things, Each time they get discussion with the opposition and how we move the country forward. And that's they talk about. So sometimes then decision also, yes, some people will say the inconvenience, both within the APC and within the SLPP. Like you say when you ask me brother just now, sometimes even when you accomplish something good, people will see their ulterior motive. So people will accuse them. So, when they jail with government, we're not supposed to jail with government, but opposition is supposed to jail with government, while saying all governments are accountable. And then, of course, people will question, so, then people are so, I don't release them, waiting this, waiting that. It is on us to explain then systems and processes here. So, and that is what we are doing. And that is why I also want to say, we say thanks to, platform like Liberty, that provide a platform for we could explain their processes here so to Sierra Leoneans, So you're doing your part, even when you ask the question just now about people, their safety, going back to their communities. I want to say thank you for that because, you get a platform, you put that question, you allow me as Attorney General to make a public clarification as to why then people are so for the safe going back into their communities. So this is really on all of us, so we're doing this together, and we're doing this together because we all agree, say, need day for make we keep the country together as one, need day for make we invest in national cohesion, need day for make we drive development in the country. We're not going to drive development in the country if we dey at each other's throats. So yes, this has been done in the best interest of the country.
For not losing the sight of the past, although una dey watch for a future where national cohesion go in a salon, and this for government now one big step where President Biosho say he wants people together, but also for the future because of waiting happen where result to them people and they being in different prisons initially. Waiting a government commitments where una self they give for ensure say even though the pardon has been granted, but people learn a lesson from past incidents.
Well, when you go through the criminal justice process, it's supposed to teach you lessons. It's supposed for me a caution to you. I think if you go back to some of the people that we were arrested, Alonsar and McKinney. We then set, under resolution for they were released several months ago. I think I can go back to the interviews with some of them grants. Where one of them basically say this has been a learning process for him. They say next time, they say if they say Kuskaze, I'll go far, or if participate in any public protest, I will conduct myself very well. Nobody knows for some position. But the outside, you got a say so to a journalist, not even to not even to the judge, So that's a lesson. But also government, ELI say, we're supposed to make significant investment in preventing crime. We're supposed to make sure say we run the country in a way that people that build, that people that get faith and trust in public institutions and the work with government to do. We get a responsibility for make sure say the justice system work for people. Because when the justice system work for people, that will make next time when somebody gets disagreements, they will prefer for channel that disagreements there through the justice system instead of taking the law into their own hands. Yes, and you see, we do this alongside many reforms, right? We know, say, security sector also gets responsibility for keep the country safe. But in doing this, we want to make sure, say, we're doing this with community orientation. And so that is why President Bio, they put significant investments into reforming the police. When I don't get discussions about even transitioning police from being a police force to a police service. Because we want to say all waiting the institutions, that's what they do. Waiting police they do, waiting military they do, waiting the justice system they do. And like where government invest in health and education, we want for in the services where government they provide to the people. That's now we own part of what we do. This now we own part of this contract where with the honor. Because when you do that thing, people build faith in the system. When people get this agreement, then channel them through the system instead of taking the law into their own hands. But then, of course, I also go back to Usai Astat. When somebody goes through the system, so that people not even call, we not call it prison anymore. We want to call them correctional service. Yes, you go through, you get punished, but then you go through corrections. When you come back, you live responsible life as a citizen who will contribute to national development. So this nothing we all get for the government will do their own part. We expect the individuals to do their own part. We expect the brothers and sisters at the APC to do their own part. We also expect, UNA will get platform like this for do their own part, for drive this message, as to why we need to stick together, as to why then things are supposed to be lessons where everybody learn, so we not do the bad things. We take people into the criminal justice process in the first place.
Alpha, people don't they see Dr. Samura Kamara when are the flag bearer for 2018-2023 and also now be the chief negotiator to all the conversation that will lead to this particular document when they implement so now Usai Resolution 4 do actualize. Dr. Samura Kamara say it is fit for electoral justice. All the move there now part of Dr. Samura Kamara in electoral justice where it is fit for?
Honestly, I would say to this point, we don't understand with electoral justice in the context of what Dr. Samura say. I think what I don't see on several occasions, based on statements we don't make, police don't even get the cause for invite and for make it explain what's electoral justice. For we, electoral justice, not certain things. One, as per we law, when you get disagreement on the outcome of an election, the law give you a specific window within which you can go to court. Now, court now they will handle the disagreement. The only place where the law give the power, the authority for determining election disputes are the courts. When you choose not to utilize that avenue there, where the law provides for you, it is on you. And so that is why when we did at the tripartite committee, there was this wrong impression with certain people being to supporters or members of the public say there will be a rerun of the elections. Each time I've been getting the opportunity for talk, I've been making very clear, say, if person they tell you this person here, so they lie to you, they give false hopes for something will not ever get to happen. In fact, this person here, so they manipulate you for really, it treats you like you probably not get sense for process them things. So that is why they would say there will be a rerun of the elections. We don't say there was no rerun of the elections. So that's one part. For we also, when we say electoral justice as a government, now for drive reforms. And so that is why after the 2023 elections, when we didn't get disagreement with the brothers and sisters at the NPC, His Excellency the President, he watch say, we don't get election denial plenty in the country. Instead of say when he lost in 2012, he said he disagreed with the outcome of the elections, but he went to court, right? And then 2018, the brothers and sisters questioned the process. 2023, the same thing. And so President Jobi said, let us fix the system. So at that day, state opening of parliament, he first announced a review process for look at the electoral architecture and recommend reforms. We will strengthen the system and make sure, say, we will prevent the issues there so when they disagree with
Alpha, I ask this question.
I can just clarify this, Khadija. Make I just done, please.
Okay.
So that was it. But like I said, after that, we've been therefore saying, no, that's not enough. We leave it to the money, and then we get the tripartite process. Now, all the reforms here, so with government, they drive. You see, say, government don't agree for we constitution, we plenty of the provisions then touch on elections. You don't agree for review we electoral laws, the Public Elections Act, the Political Parties Act, etc. Then one and the one are part of electoral justice. So the one with Dr. Samuel they talk about, I don't know. Governments don't know. You understand? And I know within electoral justice. I don't know who believes that, but electoral justice, like I say, you go to court make a determination, you drive reforms. We are waiting government they do right now, and we're doing that with the brothers and sisters at the APC for make sure that we strengthen the electoral systems. I'm insisting we get election outcomes with the people able for own in this country.
All right, since you don't clarify that issue there, is it safe for say all the moves there by the government and the opposition not get anything for do with electoral justice matter?
Like I say, it depends on which you call electoral justice. The one with Dr. Samra they talk about, we don't know what it is. I'm sure with brothers and sisters in IPC, we themselves don't know what the electoral justice means. But for we are focused on these reforms. We say that's not justice to the people. We're focused on strengthening these institutions, on reviewing. We lost them, and say we get members of the public for accompanying these processes. They understand what the reforms will be put in place. They're able all the reforms here so will be put in place, and they're all able to join hands with government, and the opposition for CC. We strengthen the electoral system structures and processes, and that we will conduct elections. We're free of violence. We're inclusive. We're representative of the views of the people. That we review a constitution. We get a constitution. We reflect the views and aspirations of the people of this country, just like our TRCC. That now we call that for me. I don't reforms that are important. So whatever Dr. Samra Kamara mean as electoral justice, we don't really know. These reforms are what we're focused on. These reforms are what we believe matter to the people of this country. These reforms are the things that we believe go better the country, go get you for live together, go get you for conduct elections. We will be able to embrace and live together as brothers and sisters. We will develop salon.
Still at the spirit of national unity, Mr. Sise, at this stage, what you go say for address one of the major issues where Sierra Leoneans still believe say if government able for address than the national cohesion where President Bio still preach now one way go be a high score for him. The issue of the former presidents Kuruma, where we all know say not in the country currently. Waiting at the latest developments regarding your issue because this is not part of the recommendation and back we come out from the agreement for national unity. Waiting at the update on that.
Well, just to clarify, right? When we signed the agreement for national unity, President Kuruma was still in Sierra Leone. When the failed coup attempts happened on November 26th, they didn't get any for the agreement for national unity. So when President Kuruma, former President Kuruma, become a subject of the that didn't get anything for the agreement for national unity. And so really it has not been a condition. So if we want to talk about former President Kuruma in business, again, for be completely separate from the agreement for national unity, again, for be separate from the clauses in the agreement for national unity with specific reference to resolution 4. But yes, President Kuruma was a subject of investigations in relation to the failed coup attempt on the 26th of November. And as a result of that, it will make an appearance before a magistrate after he had been charged, on allegations of involvement in the failed coup attempt on November 26th. But whilst in court, former President Kuruma through his lawyers, they requested need medical attention with the court being granted. And so a day out of the country on that. That was his application. It was not an application with the state make. He make the application and then the court grants them. Of course, they too believe in separation of powers in the country, right? See, there's an executive and there's a judicial arm. We know who direct the judiciary. We know say each time them for make an appearance. The court can extend the medical leave. And so when you talk about the status of President Nkrumah, again, for be looked at within all of that context. Yes, he's a subject of investigations. He's a subject of a trial process right now at the magistrate court level, but also they make a request for being granted leave for travel and seek medical attention. We the court grant, so not to the state make the application, former President Nkrumah and sent me the application, and that's not the basis on which they out of the country. Now, as to the details of it, we're asking like for say, when a matter day before the court, you don't get into the details of it. I will just want to make formula. Be assured, say, whatever thing happens with President Nkrumah, former President Nkrumah in trial, when he's back in court, when he's back in the country, the people will be informed accordingly.
All right.
Clarifications will be made if there's need for me clarifications, but we're not going to do anything in the dark when it comes to the issue relating to former President Nkrumah.
All right, Mr. Sise, they join you back shortly. We'll come to Sidi Yayah Tunis. I will ask you the same question I asked the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. On a 2018-2023 flag bearer, being there in the forefront of all of the negotiation there, will lead to some of the agreements there where UNA and government they implement now, and he's been asking for electoral justice. Implementing Resolution 4 for releasing people there where government or released yesterday. Now part of the electoral justice where Dr. Samora Kamara they lead, and be the lead negotiator for the APC.
Well, thank you very much. For us, Khadija, the electoral justice for we that making sure that we strengthen with electoral systems so that whatever happen in 2023 not going to ever repeat itself again. And that is why we were able to go through the agreement for national unity, and also, specifically Resolution 3, we create the tripartite committee where the AG now been part of, also come up with 80 good recommendations where if we implement, it will help for strengthening with electoral systems, and it will help for sanitize also with election processes in this country, and make sure say at the end of the day, when we get to elections, the results could be reflected, and we'll not go get to this. That definition of electoral justice where then we say President Bill therefore be replaced with somebody else, that one day we're not a part of it. We know they share that view day, and that is not an information we put out to with membership, and we always let people know say what we are focused on now is making sure we implement the recommendations and the tripartite report, implement the agreement for national unity as we do now, and then prepare ourselves for the 2028 general elections.
When I don't succeed for advocates for the owner member, I will be in various correctional centers, some be out of the country, they're on exile, and the government don't release them to a point that somebody then be don't convict and they serve in jail time. When I don't engage with government, they don't release them, President Bio don't pardon them. We should say, when I don't begin a good talk with President Bio. But the former president, Dr. Anes Nkrumah, still they stand trial. They out of the country on medical grounds, although some man believes say they on exile. How una go ensure say una push in case now that una don't begin get the good environment for get conversation there with government? We just don't ask the AG, you don't get in your own side, but from una party, una former leader and a former president of the country, they out there on exile.
Thank you very much, Khadija. Again, President Nkrumah issue not one way we serve na the party just not neglect. What we have always maintained that they don't express in innocence, and we get for ensure say like for all other citizens, particularly when you consider whether it don't be to this country and to the party, we ensure say it get fair trial for make sure say that innocence they proven. That is as far as I go state at the moment, because matter we don't reach to that level, it is very difficult for like come sit down here and just make political statements. So what we can only do is to make sure that we engage at every level that we can for ensure say the judiciary, once it return from medical, the judiciary able for expedite and make sure say it gets a fair trial so that the innocence can be proven. We don't know the investigations, we don't know which in they get, but he has always maintained that he's innocent, and as a party, we are innocent.
But also in the spirit of national unity, the party they expect say the president forgets a consideration for perhaps make himself just let go of the crimes and move on.
Well, we engage at every level. We pray that that will happen, and we will continue for push where we can. But, at the level we did now, we also get for look at the judicial aspect of it, whilst we push the political aspect of it. But whatever I say, I have to be guided. So that's as much as I will say at the moment.
So with unfolding events, now with owner and government, you think say owner go use them as a stepping stone for intensify owner advocacy, especially on the matter we get for the former president?
We always will, and whenever the opportunity arises, we always push that matter forward. It is of utmost importance to us. And we feel say, having those two people work together go send a very loud message, and it will keep this country together even stronger. The former and the present, go always stay in the best interest of this country for making the, at least, even if just talking to each other. In fact, now one particular resolution they inside the agreement for national unity, I think is resolution 6. We clearly speak to that, for engagement, between the former president and the current, and the leadership of the two parties. Because we feel, say, once we get that one day they happen, the rest of the country go follow suit. Because when they see that cordiality, when they see that cohesiveness among the leadership of the two entities, among, between the former and the current president, I believe say the entire country go there at peace.
What with all we don't happen, you'd see the former President Kuma, and the current President Bio, you see them working together before President Bio in term end. You see that happening?
I mean, there's every possibility for that to happen. When you speak to President Nkrumah, he will tell you that with all that don't happen, he has nothing absolutely against President Bio or anyone, and he's always open to respond to whatever request he make, whatever it is, whether not advice, whether not for do something, he's always open. There is every possibility that they go happen, but the most important thing, again, for start with that engagement between the two, the dialogue, and then the rest go fall in place.
All right, quickly, Alpha, before you left, I just take a cue from waiting Sidi Yayah Tunis don't say on a particular resolution within inside the agreement of peace and unity, seeing President Bio and that of former President Anes Baikoma working together. Sidi don't make and clear say talking to the former president is still open and willing for collaborate with the current president for ensure say they work together and promote the interest of Sierra Leone. You now they sit as the principal advisor to the president. If you get the opportunity for advice President Bio, just like what you do in the case of Alpha Sheriff, will there be a time where you go encourage him or advise him regarding the case within a court for the former president?
The point is that I know we can say on TV or radio waiting at the specific advice we will give to His Excellency the President in relation to former President Nkrumah. There's one thing that is clear. I provide legal advice to His Excellency the President. So I will always provide updates on the case. I will always provide guidance on waiting the law says, waiting at the judicial process, and waiting at the likely outcome. Now, the whole point is that waiting at the specifics of that advice, I can't say. I also can't say, the specifics of the judicial process itself because it is playing out in court. But I just want to say, yes, in the context of Resolution 6, the Agreement for National Unity, it makes very clear, say, yes, the parties they commit for engineer and rekindle relationships, with the national social political ecosystem, such as between His Excellency the President and former political leaders, as former presidents, vice presidents, the APC and SLPP leadership. You say that not they happen. If anybody tell you say that not they happen, not to give you the correct impression. His Excellency the President they relate with the leadership of the opposition a lot, both in Parliament. As well as the political party leadership itself, sometimes you need to see them things there. So na TV, but they have. You see public events, where political party representatives, from the opposition, are present. You see recently at the SLPP National Convention, where the deputy chairperson of the APC, Ambassador Yansane, a very, very brilliant speech, and, talk about the need for make SLPP elections go on well because, it's something we APC for replicate and then it's something we don't take to the national level. So these engagements are happening a great deal. That I will assure you. So Resolution 6 is being implemented very effectively because that one a continued process is not one-off. It's a continued process until we go on and on and on because it's good for make the parties continue for operate together. I mean how that applies to former President Nkrumah. We'll see. Now I'll make say that former President Nkrumah did before court and then they undergo they seek medical attention abroad, not take away in status as former president. That is sacrosanct, it not take away in status. So yes, if there's a need, or when the need arises for making President Dio get a discussion about national issues, they will, irrespective of the criminal justice process, will they play out. That will not affect the relationship. Now, of course, within the outcome of this process, I wouldn't tell, when President Nkrumah, former President Nkrumah completes a medical and come back to Salon, you will still say yes, and enroll as former president and in the president enroll as head of state, and current president, then we'll relate. They will talk very well because, that is what they're supposed to do.
I ask this question, Alpha, because under your tenure as the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, a lot of things the way been just stalled on the way, especially implementing some of them agreements there, some of them resolution there and the agreements for peace and national unity. They go on now fast. Now I make I ask the question, if you go use your platform or the time you get as a legal advisor to the president for advice on the former president a matter?
I will advise the president on the former president in matter. Now, within the specific of the advice, can't really say, but whatever the advice is that I provide to the president would be within the ambit of the law.
All right. Many thanks for joining with this morning for talk on this great step where UNA and the opposition don't take for implement Resolution 4, where they part of the agreement for peace and national unity. As always, my pleasure for interview.
Thank you very much, Khadija. Thank you to Mabel, and thanks to my brother, Koto, Sidi Yayah Tunis, and thanks to President Bio for this very bold step. And thanks also to the APC. We continue to work together in this country before.
All right, that's now be the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Alpha Cisse, will be the talk from the government's side on how they reach through the negotiation there with the opposition APC party for implement Resolution 4, where they part of the agreement for peace and unity for release people them where them be the call say na political prisoner them.
Alright, so we continue with the breakfast show, and I don't send a lot of messages where we go can read now before we come over again to Sidi and wrap up this edition of the show. And we read the message and we don't send so that Sidi go respond to the one them we need response. It's very first one they look at the post they say, Sidi, please comment on the role Honorable Cherno Majuba played for the release of APC Sheriff. We know he was personally handed over to him.
All right, they look at some messages them. Now, the YouTube, Jibril Bangura say the opposition's collaboration with the SLPP government should be directed at Mr. Cisse as they seem focused on questioning and sacking members of the opposition based on political affiliation.
We look at more messages. This one, they say, Sidi, let the APC don't lose fact of the matter that it's not a favor the SLPP is doing, but granting what is in the resolutions.
Kamara Thomas, they say, Sidi, now you are saying you are confident and you want to believe that it's intentional by the side of the government. But don't forget this particular government only give when they're building a plan.
For the Mustafa Toure say, they kept denying that they had released 13 people in custody and this happened. It means the government is insincere from the one. The APC should go for their own interests and force the government to fully implement the tripartite recommendations. The ID cards were part of the recommendations, but the APC is watching and government is forcing people to pay for them when they should be free.
Jim Kelly Jallo, they say Yayah Tunis is always calm in disposition and real in bringing out issues regardless of what. We need more of your kind in Sierra Leone. Keep it up.
Yayah Tunis say APC should stop disturbing the peace of Sierra Leone in the protest, in the form of protest, just to distract governments, but trust APC not like themselves and salon.
George Walker, they say, why now has the government decided to reach out to the All People Congress Party after all the wahala over the years, I wonder.
And this one from Zachariah Denke say government's recent actions, while laudable, expose a troubling pattern. Justice is dispensed not as a universal principle but as a political concession. Why is the same urgency not extended to correcting the injustice of the Commission of Inquiry, which disproportionately targeted opposition figures under questionable pretense? The late Momo Conte, a prominent APC stalwart, had his properties seized by the state and his estate continues to face persistent threats from the Government Assets Commission and other authorities.
All right. More messages where I go take. This one, they say Sidi Yayah Tunis is one of the Southern APC comrade I admire so much because of his neutrality and patriotism.
This one from Tuba APC is say President Bio in eyes don't clear. Thank you, sir.
All right. From the messages then there, because of time, we go over quickly to Sidi for respond. They'll go wrap up.
Well, plenty thank you to the one that will send the messages. You know, someday we still get skepticisms, but I just want to use this moment for reflect and for be thankful for waiting to happen to them families there. So we then loved ones, they don't get freedom. I mean, however long it took, freedom don't come to them, and we should be appreciative of that. Which role Honorable Cherno play? Well, I'm not going to tell which individual roles people played, but it is very clear all this come about as a result of the implementation of the Agreement for National Unity Resolution 4, to be specific. And, you know, hearing the AG and also wetin me sef say na with regards to APC Sheriff. We all know say na presidential pardon he get, which is something President Bio used in discretion and the powers given to him by the Constitution for do. So whatever role Honorable Chen Majuba may have played, me not go able to tell Naya specifically, but what I know is what we have communicated, both myself and the Attorney General. You know, all the other ones, they will let me for what I'm doing. I'll continue to do what I'm doing because I know say it is in the interest of the APC and this country as a whole. You know, so I just want to thank them all.
All right, many thanks, Sidi Yayah Tunis. We join with this morning for can talk on the side of the APC concerning the implementation of Resolution 4, when a part of the agreement for peace and unity. USAID that will release some of our party members and supported them within a correctional center. It's always a pleasure for get you.
It's always a pleasure for Dea. Thank you, Khadija. Thank you, Mabel. Have a blessed weekend.
All right, well, now the end the breakfast show for today. Many thanks to all we viewers them. We don't deal with throughout the week as Liberty TV. Now the only digital platform this way they get issues of public interest. Continue to watch Liberty TV throughout the weekend. We get very interesting content that they produce for now during the weekend. Mina Khadija Bangura, they say have a nice weekend.
All right, and till we meet again, Mabel Kabadisi, get a good weekend and stay out of trouble.
Develop city, then clean, all clean city, develop.
This is Yvonne Akisoya, Mayor of Freetown. And today, I want to talk to Freetonians about sanitation. We objective, transform Freetown, transforming lives. We know we're able to achieve them